Okay.
University Express. Thank you, Orchard Park Senior Center for hosting, and thank you, Erie County Office of the Aging, for providing this wonderful program. Also, I'd just like to remind you that there are many, many, many programs available through the Office of Aging. If you have friends who may be homebound and are unable to come to these programs, if you pick up our newsletter, there is a number for Erie County. You can call them, and if they can't help you, they will direct you to an appropriate resource, I assure you. We are very blessed in Erie County and Western New York. I think we have the best Office of the Aging in all of New York State. So are there many, many programs available. If you don't ask if you have something available, you don't know. So you may be missing out on all kinds of assistance. So please use that as a resource. If you have cell phones, would you please be so kind and put them on silent or turn them off? And also, we look for feedback on our University Express programs. There are evaluations that are on the desk as you come in. I don't put them out because I usually pick them up out of the trash. Not many people like to fill them out. But I want to tell you that we really value your input. So if you're interested in giving us input on our programs, take it home, and the next time you come to University Express, drop it off at any center. Because we've gotten a lot of good ideas. We've had some great speaker recommendations. So we really value your input. So if you'd like to share your bright ideas with us, we'd look forward to it. So please do. And now for the reason you're all here today, celebrating Buffalo and beyond, the artistic legacy of Jozef Sławinski, presented to you by Eleanor, who is a longtime educator in Western New York and continues to be a lifelong learner, both professionally and personally. In addition to earning 5 college degrees, she was awarded 2 National Endowment for the Humanities grants for summer study in New York City and in Italy. As a volunteer for the AKG Art Gallery, the Birchfield Penny Art Center, and Explore Buffalo, plus other organizations, she hopes her tour takers and program participants will, along with her, mutually enjoy increased knowledge, deepened understanding, and a renewed enthusiasm for life. And she is certainly an enthusiastic person. And Eric is here from Erie County. This is going to be live streamed. And Eric is also part of the University Express program. He's a great asset to us. And Eleanor, on behalf of all of us, thank you for spending your time and your knowledge.
Thank you for inviting me again, and thank you very much. Now, can you hear? No?
Here, you have to wait for the green.
The green, there it is.
Okay, there you go.
Good afternoon. Too loud? No? Okay. You let me know when you can't hear me, all right? Thank you very much for coming today. Some of you have heard of this artist, some of you have not, okay? But the first time, I just want to tell you, the first time I was at Stella Niagara. It was a retreat house over near Lewiston, okay? And I saw this chapel that they had with all of these different kinds of murals. And then I saw outside there was this peace site that they had. And I said, who in the world did this? Who is this? Okay, and it took me a while to find out who it was, right? And it was Jozef Sławinski. So I have many pictures to show you. What I want to do is I don't want to go over time. I'd like to go so that you will have time for questions. And there are people that are in this audience who know more than I, and they would be willing to share information as well. So when she had read about increase our knowledge, deepen our knowledge, and enjoy living, okay, I'm hoping that you can contribute to this as well. But we're going to hold the questions until the end, okay? Just to get through that. All right. Well, thank you. So here, creating Buffalo or celebrating Buffalo and beyond, the artistic legacy of Jozef Sławinski. Next, please. Thank you. Okay. Now, some of you may know these buildings, and some of you are from Explore Buffalo. At least one is from Explore Buffalo, so you know this. But Sławinski was born in Poland. He came to the States to do a commissioned work. Okay, and when he came, word got around that hey, he was good, and we wanted to see more of him. So I'm just giving you some of the Buffalo and Western New York places where you're going to find his work of art or works of art. Okay, so anybody can guess in the upper left, that's Buffalo City Hall, okay? You'll see some there. The next one is ECMC, a medical, okay, that's still a medical hospital that's still in existence. I was there a couple times. Then there is the Hurdle Middle School. It used to be called Hurdle Middle School and its academy. It's a primary school or primary. Now I should say. They're not a high school, okay, but they have a big mural in that. And then the other one that we have is the public library downtown. Next, please. Okay. All right. These are all scholastic, so to speak. You have at the top what used to be Rosary Hill College, but is now Damon. All right. And then you have Villa Maria College, and then you have Canisius College, and then you have State University of Buffalo. Okay? Each of them has at least one thing of the artist. Next, please. Okay? Then we have some churches. We have in the upper left, that's Roman Catholic Cathedral, St. Joseph. Okay, St. Joseph, okay, it's in downtown Buffalo. Then they have at the and next to that is the Church of the Assumption. I know I have some Assumption parishioners here. I think they may be here. And to the right, that's the Sisters of Stella Niagara. And at the bottom of the Sisters of Stella Niagara on the right, you also have a field where the sisters used to, when they were there in the early 1900s, they used to plant crops. They used to have cows there, that they had cows that they had, and that was it's a great meadow. Okay, it's a great meadow. And at the God bless you, okay, Eric. And then the little chapel there has a story to it. Next one, please. Okay, so why do I have this same thing again? Notice in the lower left-hand corner, there is something missing. And that is for each of you, if you have something to share afterwards, I would love you to help all of us to learn more that may have been covered over here. Okay, I had over there, it was from Explore Buffalo by Eleanor Ash. Now, I would hope that you would be able, if you know things, to contribute. Next thing, please. Right. I give acknowledgement. I have had years of learning different things, and this particular acknowledgement, I call him Father, Dr. Gessner was really the one that was in charge of having the Polish Arts Club, but also many other people in the Polish Arts Club contributed things in order to save a very major work of his. I have librarians that were very influential. And Sławinski's second wife, his first wife died, Wanda, was alive at the time, and I was able to speak with her. And when I had a friendship with her, I thought I was beginning a friendship. She unexpectedly died. And so basically, I think it was during COVID that when I asked her the questions, and she answered them by email, and I had a heck of a lot more questions to ask that remain unanswered. Okay, but she was very helpful to me as well. So, and I'll come back to that slide again. Next one, please. Okay, so here's a little bit of a run through concerning before Buffalo. Before Buffalo, you know, he was born in Warsaw, Poland. I had an early start to his work. He's very, very into art and educated. He had been a professor of art as well, and he did a lot of restorations because there had been the World War and many buildings were destroyed, and so there was restoration, and then he mastered many techniques, but the one thing that he really loved better than all of them was sgraffito. Okay, next one, please. Okay. So how did he come here? Well, I think one of the cardinals in Poland had recommended him to Monsignor Bogatsky at Assumption Church, and that was in 1963. So he was invited, he was commissioned to come and to do work as a celebration for a celebration of the anniversary inside the Assumption Church. Next, please. Okay. That is the inside of the sanctuary. When you walk in, we would be sitting and looking at that. And I just wanted to give you an idea how large that building, that sanctuary is. Okay. Then could you close next one, please? Okay. So here are just some scenes. And by the way, now Chuck LaCusa has this on his website, but I've forgotten how many years ago. You know, he didn't. Okay, but it was good that he has it on now, and you can go to see it. But if you go to your far right, you're going to see Our Lady of Częstochowa. She's it's a picture. It's a picture. I just want you to know that because you're going to see that honor of Mary again. Could we have the next thing, please? Okay. So with all of that stuff, there's a whole back stuff that they had at the bottom and at the top. Okay, well, what is this graffito part, right? And in essence, what he does, he first does the research, and when he feels that he has enough of the research and to what also the client would like, okay, then he makes a giant cartoon on a piece of paper. He makes this giant picture. Okay, so he's doing drawing. Okay, he's doing drawing, and then what he does is that he perforates holes in that. Okay, in that, because when he gets together the washed sand, what's washed sand? River sand, and cement, and pigment, and lime are mixed. And he also took, the science of art. And so he knows the measures that he needed to use in order to make this. Basically, it's like, you could say it's like cement. Okay, it's like cement. And what he does then, he puts layers down. Usually there are 4 or less. And he puts, let's say, there's the black and the red, okay, and the yellow, and and then there's a timing that has to be done. He takes the cartoon, he puts it on that, okay, sprays it a bit, puts a little bit of chalk so that he can see it, and then he actually he has delicate tools where he takes it and he subtracts it. It's called a subtractive method. Here it is like cement, and he's carving away. He's carving away from that. And he has to do it on a time that in other words, it has to be the right consistency in order to do this, or else you can't do it. Okay, so you can't do it. So it's a really demanding type of art. Although it had been years and years, centuries ago, it had been used in some ancient times. Next one, please. Okay. That is Sławinski, and the upper left, that's at Grey Cliff. Someone said that they were from Grey Cliff. Okay, when the Piarist fathers came to the States, they said they had their one of their, what would you say, retreat houses and their residences over at Great Cliff. Okay, and there is Sławinski doing the Great Cliff work, and at the lower right, Sławinski is over at the Fatima Shrine in Youngstown. Okay, and I'm not sure, have any of you seen the shrine in Youngstown? All right, and we have some sadness to it and also some joy. Next, please. Okay, so I'm just going to get, now that you know a little bit about what is this sgraffito, these are not small pictures. These are large pictures. That's why I showed you the sanctuary before. All right, so here's the Assumption. That's because it's the Church of the Assumption. Okay, but then we have other things relating to Mary and to Jesus. Next one, please. Okay, so this is above this Assumption. So when I'm saying above, you know, you got to be on scaffolds to do this. Yeah, and in the 1960s, when he was here, the equipment was not as sophisticated as we can do now. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Okay, would you please take the next one? Okay, below we have the Annunciation. The angel is the one that's bowing to Mary. But this is all by the subtractive method, and it's heavy stuff. Heavy stuff that is there. Next one, please. Okay, the Nativity. I'm not sure you can see Joseph and Mary. And excuse me, if some people are not familiar with the Christian faith or the Catholic, just please ask me a question. Then, if you have, what the heck is that? Okay, but we have the baby Jesus. Toward the next one, please. Okay, then the flight into Egypt. Okay, and the flight into Egypt now. Because Herod was going to kill this newborn king. They had to, Mary and Joseph and the baby fled into Egypt. Next, okay, and this is all on that sanctuary wall. All right, and above that, I didn't explain the other symbol, but this particular symbol, what is that? That's a okay. What it is a symbol of Christ. Okay, that was the pelican would be the legend. The pelican would break its own skin in order to have the blood to be serving the ones in the nest. Okay, so that pelican is, you say that's a strange symbol for Jesus, but it's been used in other churches as well, and Sławinski used it here as well. Next, please. Okay. Okay. Then we have Jesus is taken down from the cross. That is a pieta. You probably know that. Any dead person and who is being held, especially by the mother. Okay. Is a pieta, and that is a pieta that we have. Next one, please. Okay. So now you get I have at least a little bit of an idea with knowing the toughness of what was happening, how this art went. You can realize how painstaking it may have been for that large church. Next, please. Okay. All right, so we go from one interior to another interior, and this interior is near Lewiston. It's at the Sisters of Stella Niagara. They had their own zip code, Stella Niagara, and we go inside. Eric, thank you. Okay, go inside. There is a chapel. Now you can't see it. The three things at the top, to the left, in the middle, and the right, you can't see them that well right now. We could get another picture. But what he did is that word got around from the Church of Assumption. Hey, this guy is good. You really want to hire him. And so they asked. The sisters asked if they could do a redoing of their chapel. Their chapel was before, for those of you that are Catholic, before Vatican II, the priest had his back to the congregation. Okay. Now, after Vatican II, which was the liturgy was document was in December of 1963. This is being done in 1964. So the Mother Superior over there was right on top of it, okay, and she had two guys, because Jozef Sławinski and his friend Michael Baranowski had come. They were comrades. They did teaching together, so forth, and they did work together, and they came together and they worked on this. And then I'm showing this to you in the middle towards the back. Okay, there is a indentation and there's a screen. Could you please show us the next one, Eric? Okay, that is the altar. Okay, and in front of that altar, that looks like a table with a draping over it. That's the altar that's now facing the congregation. Okay, so that's where that is. And he made this sgraffito. That's not a painting. That's a sgraffito. Okay, which is heavy. Okay, which is heavy, all right, and the priest who would be staying at the altar looking at the people this way, all right, would be right in front of Jesus. Okay, so you can't forget, this is really about Jesus. Would you take the next one, please? Okay, so I just wanted to show, I thought these were a little lighter. Maybe they're not. Go to the next one, please. Okay, so yes, here's a little bit lighter, and in one of the sgraffito to the ceiling, he has the sisters, important people, important saints for the sinners, for the sisters that are there, and the Our Lady, Jesus' mother, is in that sgraffito. And the middle one, it's Christ the King, basically Pantocrator, all-knowing, Alpha and Omega. That's in the center, and you really can't see at the top right. But the top right is the one that Saint Joseph is the patron of the church. Okay, and there have many different saints that were appropriate for the sisters at that time. Okay, by the way, I have information. If any of you have a question about a little bit more, I have it. I brought it. Okay, so that if you even like to take a look at the picture. Okay, next one, please. Okay, so we go from the inside now to the meadow outside, where the sisters used to have crops, and they used to have cows, right? And in the very, 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 very back of the horizon, there is this tiny chapel. Okay, there's this tiny chapel, and I was fortunate to see it, and a lot of times it was locked or whatever. And I said to the sisters, I said, "Gee," I said, "this was open." She said, "Oh, someone may have forgotten to lock it, whatever." But this is where there are works. Okay, by the team of Joseph and Michael, okay, Baranowski and Sławiński. So next one, please. Okay, here is the chapel to the left. Okay, it's into the lower left. And before, when the sisters got it, it was just a foundation. It wasn't built up as a chapel. And the legend is from the sisters that one of the people who came to the area, and they were Catholics, had a problem, had a medical problem. And his friend told him, "I'll tell you what, you know what? You can get rid of that medical problem. You can pray and you can build that chapel, help to build that chapel." I'm really cutting this short. Okay, so the person decided he's going to build the chapel, and when he got done, he was cured. I don't know if it's a legend. I don't know if it's true, but there is a story in their archives. Okay, when I was talking to their archivist or whatever, I learned a lot of things. Okay, but so the chapel now had kind of a blessed presence about it. Some people would say magic. No, it's not magic. Okay, so when there was, and there it is. The chapel is a little bit on the lower left. You can see lower right. Excuse me. You can see it in its glory. Okay. Next, please. Okay. But what happens is that it's right on the river. It's right on the river. It's very close to Canada. You can see Canada. People, if they were able to go against the current, probably could go back to Canada and forth and back and forth. And there was in 1955, there was a terrible, terrible storm, and it was ripping out from houses, structures that were on the land, okay, because of the ice that had frozen. And what happened over here is that there was ice that was forming, and these are pictures from the Buffalo Courier Express. God rest his soul. Okay, some of you maybe remember that. All right, so what they did is that one of the big pieces of ice had edged its way so much that it kept out the other pieces of ice that would have been wrecking it. So it was the structure that was saved, and they said it by the Lady of the Angels. The Lady of the Angels saved that because it didn't get demolished. It stayed. Next one, please. Okay. There's a picture that was from the Buffalo Courier Express. You see the two guys, fellow colleagues, and they came. Michael came to help Joseph do it because it's strenuous work. Joseph was already, he was born in 1905, so he's in his 50s, right? And Michael is in his 40s. That's not old, but they're not youngsters. So there was from the news. Next, please. Okay. This is the inside of the chapel. Now that space is small, but it fills. Okay, those fill the chapel. So you have Our Lady blessing the chapel. You have with the saints at the bottom, with the angels. I mean, she's protecting. It's a symbol of her protection. And the other one in the upper right is Saint Francis. Since it was the Sisters of Saint Francis, okay, they're going to have devotion to Saint Francis. Okay, so they had that in the chapel. So next one, please. All right, now also at Stella Niagara, there is a peace site. How did this start to be? Well, when Michael and Joseph, the artists, were working, John F. Kennedy had been killed. They heard about, and they wanted to do something that would honor, that would celebrate John F. Kennedy in sign for their fellow Polish people. Okay, they wanted to know that the people of Poland were for what John F. Kennedy did. Okay, so they said, well, what shall we do? Next, please. Okay, there's a lot to this. Have any of you ever have been there like on a bus tour and you saw that it's kind of like a shrine, okay, that one person. What happened, he said, well, since we're going to do it, there was a lot of talk, a lot of discussion, what we're going to do. So he took the people named John, and on the top, to the left, it's kind of like I would say a shell barrage that when you walk in, you've got this in front of you. Okay, you've got this. So to the left is John the Baptist, the person who baptized Jesus, and all the people that are over there are listening because he has truth. John the Baptist has truth. Okay. Then in the middle, okay, in the middle, as you walk straight forward, is the John the Apostle. There's where he has his head against Jesus, and the idea of a close friend, and he is with Mary, Jesus' mother, and there's the Pieta. Remember I said for you to remember the son, the dying son in the mother's arms, and that is where John the Apostle is in his love. Okay, on our right, you have Pope John the 23rd. Okay, Pope John the 23rd was the one who started getting the Vatican II, updating the church. My gosh, how old that is now. Okay, but okay, it was how old, and the fact that and he has Saint Martin de Porres. There were some new saints that were canonized, and simply it's just Saint Martin de Porres was not white. Okay, so what is it? Is it said that the church recognizes everyone, no matter what color you are. Okay, and that was the point of that. Now, when you go to the bottom, that's what it looks like if you were walking in. Okay, but they did have some glass stones, the chunks that could let in some light. Okay, but at the back, so here you're walking in, okay, and you see this. And if you go outside at the very curve, there are two different quotes. One is from Pope John the 23rd, okay, and one is from John F. Kennedy's inauguration. And I will, is it okay? Do I have time to, well, I'll read them later.
Is it open, but that's a panel of glass?
No, there is the glass that I was talking of were chunks of colored glass that would be taking in the light from outside. Okay.
So that front shows the exterior, that's all open?
Yes, that's open. And what was meant to be done is to have a gate. By the way, Jozef Sławinski also worked with steel and copper, okay, and he did different metals, and there was to be a gate that would be blocking that, and that could be opened then for a mass. Notice they had anticipated that maybe the mass might be in there, but things changed along the way. Okay, pardon?
They left it all open, it could be easily vandalized by the kooks that are.
Okay, well, yes. If you don't mind, I appreciate your, I want to see if I can, so let's go. So I'm not going to read those to you if anybody's interested. I have the quotes. Okay, next one, please. Okay, and at the back, okay, besides those quotes from Kennedy and from John the 23rd, okay, is Kennedy's already dead, okay? And so what he deliberately has this with that reddish bronze, black sgraffito, it's sgraffito as well, all right? And if you go, next one, please. Next one, I'm not sure if you can make it out, but Kennedy is walking to the into the sunset. Literally, he's walking into the sunset, and he has rolled paper in his hand. And it took me a while. I had to make this out when I first saw it. Okay, there on the back to Kennedy's back is our buildings from Washington, selection of buildings from Washington, D.C., and the United Nations, okay, and the United Nations from New York City. So he's got those. In other words, he wanted peace, okay, and he worked for peace. He lost his life probably for peace, whatever. So now he's walking into the sunset and he's saying, it's up to us now. It's up to us. Next one, please. Okay, so this is what Sławinski had said. Okay, these days, everyone talks about peace, but no one does anything about it. It seems, rather, that most are preparing for war. An artist such as I, a muralist, would love to create a lasting tribute to the idea of peace. I have prepared many projects with this theme in mind, okay? So it started with Joseph and Michael, the artists, saying we want to do something to show our sorrow, okay, and our empathy and our wish for peace, because Poland had been invaded, you know, by Russia and Austria, okay, and Germany, okay, Prussia. So I mean, it knew about war, okay, and so here, so next, please. Okay. All right. So about war, since I can squeeze this in, at the St. Francis Conventual, these are priests and monks who are in Athol Springs. They have a church, and Maximilian Kolbe was a brother, okay, and what he did is that he was in a concentration camp. They were being burned, okay, and he substituted his, he says, take me rather than that other person. That other person has a wife and children or whatever, and so he was he made himself, he substituted himself. There's a big story. There's a story that goes along with that, but this is a sgraffito already over at the Athol Springs. Next one, please. Okay. Now in City Hall, there is hammered copper. He also did hammer copper, and there is a memorial that was done by Jozef Sławinski. I will show you. It's kind of hard to see, so we're going to have a close-up of it. Next one, please. Okay, here is what the plaque says. This part of it, this plaque was presented to the people of the city of Buffalo by the Polish American Citizens Organization in memory of their fellow brothers, prisoners of war, massacred by Soviet Russia at Hutton in the spring of 1940. Mayor James B. Griffin was assisted in the unveiling of this unique plaque. And on April 27, 1980, family members also joined those of the Polish officers to unveil the plaque. So you have an idea. I did not check. I think it was still up at the City Hall, okay? But I have to check to see. Thank you. Next one, please. Okay, this is a close-up. I'm not sure if you can see there are skulls that are hammered into that. You see for the idea of death. Okay, the skulls are, you see, they are, you know, bone skulls that you see. Okay, next one, please. Okay, and then in the upper left of that, there is Mary and her child, Jesus. And for many, not all, but for many Polish Catholics, Our Lady of Częstochowa is like a symbol, and the idea is that she has, her face is blackened because of a fire, and it survives the fire. And they had some soldiers cut down the face, and the face was cut, but it didn't destroy it, so that Our Lady of this isn't Our Lady of Częstochowa. What it is Mary with a tear going down her face. But because it was by a Polish artist, because of people who had lost Polish people who had lost their lives, my guess is that somewhere in the back of his brain, he must have also been thinking about Our Lady of Częstochowa. Okay. My husband is not Polish, and so he spells it C Zestochała. Okay. Next, please. Okay. It's easy to spell that way then. All right. So this is in Buffalo City Hall. Okay. Next, please. And that was the copper that we had. Next one, please. Okay. So now here's the seal of the Buffalo seal, and again, it's hard when you take a picture of that. Okay, but what I do is it's a seal of Buffalo. Go to the next one, Eric. All right, up to the left. That's what's on the outside of the City Hall, and it's the water. There's a ship on the water, okay, and then at least on the one to the upper left, there is along the canal. There's something being towed, okay, but that's in the mayor's office. That seal by Sławinski is in the mayor's office. Next, please. Okay, now here we're at Great Cliff. Great Cliff. Great Cliff, you know, was the kind of the summer house of Darren Martin's wife. Basically, she liked to be there. Okay, but when it was neglected, then an order came in to help people, and they did lots of different things. But in essence, they asked for a mural, a sgraffito mural to be done. Okay, so that's you don't see that where that larger picture. That's the mural that's at the top. Okay, now it was. They were just going to destroy it. There was no place to put it. Okay, so the Polish Arts Club, members of the Polish community, actually they raised money to save that. Okay, would you please take the next one? Okay, okay, and now the creation of the monument. First of all, go ahead. All right, next one, please. Okay, here is Jozef Sławinski. Remember, he's in his 50s now, and I want you to see that by his hand there are 2 feet, because I want you, when you see the full picture, you'll be able to see those whose feet they belong to. Okay, next one. All right, so next one. Okay, so lots of scaffolding, a lot of ladders. Just think. You have to wait, you have to time, you have to make sure that in whatever weather conditions, okay, the things are going well. Okay, so it took a lot of work. Next. All right. All right, here's the 18 tons. You know, that's 18 times 2,000. Okay, 18 times. That's how much that weighs. Okay, I'm going to get closer to show you. Next one, please. Okay, I'm not sure if you can see, but towards the upper right, there's some black, and near Kalashanksas. Yeah, we did have a high school. Do we still have Kalashanksas High School in Buffalo? I know, but is up by his face. So it's being now. It's destroyed, and it's decaying. So what they did next, please. Okay. We got the Great Cliff mural on the move, and I'm just showing you that how carefully they hired professionals in order to do that, because it's easy to break. That stuff is easy to break if it's not done correctly. Okay, so next one, please. Okay, so where is it now? It's near the library at the Buffalo State campus. Okay, and Wanda Sławinski was in the library department and as an archivist, and she was really super. Okay, and I think Gessner, and I know there are people here who have been part of it. Okay, that was then it was cleaned up in a certain sense. It was then, if you could make it closer, please. Okay, if you go close. Those are the 2 things that at least I showed you on the bottom that were yicky. Okay, well now it gives you. We're celebrating in 1967. They celebrated the 350th anniversary of the foundation of the order. Right, and then there are the sponsors. And if your family is one of the sponsors, I'm not neglecting you, but I really wanted to finish in 2 minutes from now, but I'm not sure if I will. Go ahead. Okay, next one, please. Okay, so. I'm going to quickly go through. At Villa Maria, Sławinski not only designed on the outside, there's Villa College on Pine Ridge Road, okay, but they have a Chopin sgraffito. You say, oh, well, it's on rollers. I can just move that along. Okay, the Polish Singing Society, do they still own that? I'm not sure who owns that now, okay? But there, it wasn't, last time I saw, it was at the music room, very appropriately, okay, of Chopin, okay, and I'll get closer. Next one, please. Okay, there's his face, his notes next to it. I know I'm rushing through this, but next one, please. Next one. Okay, thank you. All right, and next one. All right, and then also, and so, but you need to have someone. You have a number of people to roll that because it's sgraffito. This one hangs, so it's not as heavy. There's some sgraffito that is not as heavy as the other ones, right? And this is Copernicus. Was Copernicus Polish? Yes, okay, yes, Copernicus was Polish, okay? Okay, so there's just that used to be in the library, and the last time I went to the library, I didn't see it. And so I asked the person, I said, they changed the library a lot. And I said, you know whether you still have this? And I did leave a message. I didn't get an answer, but I think it still exists. I'm just not sure where it's being held. Okay, the next, please. Okay. Now, at the former Rosary Hill College, Damon College, this is a black and white of this. And when I went, and I called the college, and I said, can I come down? I had to show who I was and so forth. And I went to the librarian, I went to the archivist, and she said, and I said, here's a black and white picture of it. And so she said, I'll give you a call, give me a call if you don't hear from me, okay? She then said, I think we found it, okay? So I went back several times, and next one, please, okay? I know it's hard to see where that was. It wasn't in the place that they said it was. It was, you familiar with transom? A transom, okay? So there's a door, okay? And on the transom of the door, okay, that was hanging above the door. I know it weighs a lot. I can just imagine if it wasn't hanging well. Okay, there are students that are walking in that hallway, and there's a stair that's coming right down. So, and I'm not the greatest photographer, so it wasn't. But at any rate, next one, please. Okay, so it was at the Fine Arts and Crafts Building, which is now changed. Okay, they've changed the campus, but at least it's still in existence. Okay, next, please. Okay, now he did a lot of other things, and the sad story is that sometimes people didn't know the correct way to move, and so for one of his St. Francis works, this is an explanation of it. It was meant to be sent to Stella Niagara, okay? And so when they were waiting, the archivist was waiting as well with some other sisters, and when it came to Stella Niagara, it was just a pickup truck where it had been placed not in any particular way, and it was broken. Okay, it was broken. So there are some sad stories about things that had been brand new before, and with change, you realize it's not all kept. But Dr. Gessner has a great idea for doing that. Okay, the next, please. Okay, next. Commodore Perry, what the heck is this? This is a large mural over at the Hurdle Middle School that is on Military Avenue. Okay, I mean it's basically on the corner. And please next. Okay. Oh no, wait. Oh, I'm sorry. Could you go back? Oh wait. It is super packed with people. You have the lower right, you have the Native Americans seeing how the other people are coming in to their territory, cutting down their forests. To the left, you see boat makers. There are planks being made and boats being built. All right, and this is Commodore Perry at Black Rock. Right, and this was in 1969, and this photo was in Chuck Puce's Buffalo AH. So I just want you to know, next one, please. Okay. Stan Novak is a member of the Polish Arts Club, and he worked at the school, and he saw this mural being made, okay, by Jozef Sławinski. And he says, and he told us about how that's not easy, because Sławinski had a cot in a closet that he stayed with, and when he put the mixture on he would have to wait, and then he would get up. Okay, he would get up and then work on that part in order to get it done. But there's a heck of a lot of people in that mural. Right? So I'm just giving you an overview. Okay, next please. Okay, next please. Okay, there are at ECMC. He was commissioned to do a mural, a pretty long mural over at ECMC. And I had seen it when I was on a bus tour. And then they were thank you for coming. They moved it, okay? And I saw where it was. That's where, and I'm not sure if they moved it again, okay? But they have like all kinds of refreshments about of it, and I'm not sure how well that's being taken care of. But they have 3 sections. Okay, this one section, there are people that are symbolic of the Polish community. You see a Felician nun and priests and the Polish Blue Army to the right. All of these have a story. This could be a talk on its own. Next one, please. Okay, then you have different works again that are symbolic. You have medical people. You have people who have Copernicus is there to the far right as well. But they're symbolic of people in medicine. Next one, okay. In factory work or farmers work, or there's a little girl that's going for her first communion, and in the right, and in the upper right, you see Our Lady of Częstochowa. I said for you, I started. There is a method to this madness. Okay, I started with the Assumption, and you saw that there, and it is over there. This could be a talk in itself, but it's there, and it's big. It's life size. It's almost life size. Next one, please. Okay. I just do this because I wanted to show you a baptism of Mieszko. First was made Poland a Catholic country. Okay, I just wanted you to know. So if you could go to he did this. Okay, he did this, and this is in the conventual residence. But the next one he did. Next one, please. Okay, is the same picture, but he now put it in hammered copper. All right, and I knew that you wouldn't be able to tell what it is, but it's at the Roman Catholic Cathedral in downtown St. Joseph's at the cathedral. So without the glare, you might be able to see it better. Next, please. Okay. How about the artist's home? He lived at 125 Buffalo Avenue, which is right on the way to the falls. All right, and this is his drawing. And this drawing, there's the rapids are to the right. Okay, the falls are represented to behind. And if you go to the next, okay, that is his studio. Right, and he had things in his studio. And Wanda had said that when he died, that he had pieces, but people wanted just like a souvenir rather than to pay a lot for a work of art. Okay, next one, please. Okay, then in his backyard. Okay, in his backyard is a large work sgraffito, and it's the legend of the Maid of the Mist, where where the Native Americans supposedly threw a beautiful young woman over the falls as a sacrifice. This is just a legend, okay? But in 1901, we had the same idea of the falls and a woman being the falls. I should have brought that, but he didn't do it, okay? I mean, someone else. But this is the next one, please, okay? That gives you an idea of the size of that, all right? And all the painstaking work that he had done, and it was just let go. No one was doing anything about it. So Dr. Gessner, once again, look carefully. Next one, please. Okay, and you can see that it really is, it's not solvable. I don't think it's solvable. But at least there was an article in 2012 about it in the paper. Okay, and so people at least were made aware of it. Next. Okay, there it is. You can see the wear in the chair. It could be saved, but it would take a lot of money. Next, please. All right. The Dome Chapel at Our Lady of Fatima Shrine in Youngstown. Okay, they used to have this. What Sławiński had done is right in back of the altar. So here's again, right in back of the altar, you would be able to see that mural. Okay, next, please. Okay, there it is. Okay, you can see the photograph on the bottom is better, but I'll explain it to you. It was about peace. It was a peace mural. So the people who didn't want to work for peace, didn't do anything about peace, are to the left, and they have a mushroom cloud above them. So they're getting their fill. Okay, the people to the right are rejoicing for life and for helping one another, and so they are rejoicing. Right in the middle, at the bottom of that, is a young pregnant woman, and the young pregnant woman is supposed to represent the hope that good will be done, the hope that there will be peace. You have to have hope. If you don't have hope, you despair. And the four figures that are behind her are four different colors of their skin. It's supposed to represent any skin color of the world. Those are the four that he put in. And above, okay, the four, the Holy Spirit is taking both both hemispheres and is trying to put them together. In other words, working for peace. I know I'm going through this quickly, but you probably, if you ever saw it, you probably said, "What? If you didn't know the explanation, what is that?" But that's why it's called a peace mural. Next, please. Okay. Next, please. Now, okay, at the bottom to the right, okay, that was the four people, and then the woman that's in the back of Father. He's at the shrine. Okay, and that was how they moved it from behind the altar to a separate entity of itself. And when Wanda Sławinski, his wife, was still alive, she met us. Okay, I was at the bus tour as well, and she met us and was very saddened to see how it had cracked. Okay, and it was separate, and it was not well cared for. But it takes a lot of money. It takes someone that, gee, they thought that they were doing a good job. Maybe it was not as good as they could be. Okay, so how does a legacy get left? Next, okay, next. Okay, why the falls? Okay, because there's always hope. If you have, there's always hope, and if you work for hope, like we try, like U.S. and Canada try to work together in order to share the water. There isn't a line that's in the middle of the water that says, "Oh, this is Canada's and this is ours." You gotta share it, okay? You gotta share, and so there's hope, okay? And the next thing is that at Stella Niagara, in their back, they had a beautiful labyrinth. The labyrinth is not a maze. You don't get, like stuck at the end of something. It's a slow meditation to pray for peace. And so because this is for Sławinski, who loved peace, who wanted people to make peace, maybe there's some inspiration for you. If you've never heard of a labyrinth, I think I have a brochure on that. Okay, the next one, please. Okay, so what do we do now? Okay, we go to where there's a memorial statue for Sławinski, and also for one that he made. This is at St. Stanislaus Cemetery on Pine Ridge Road. My family is right across the street in the ground, okay? And I'm there one of these days, okay? I'll be there. But if you go, next one, please. It's a little easy, probably that's more recognizable if you're familiar with St. Stan's Cemetery. Next, please. Okay, all right. This is, it's still in use. In other words, these are just not people who don't have anybody, they come. I just want you to see that. Next one, please. Okay, these are the rows, okay, the rows that they have. And in the almost the middle of the top part, it looks like it could be like a tree. There is a pointed thing. That's the Wayside Shrine. Go ahead. Next, please. Okay. Next, please. That's a memorial again for the Polish people who fought in the war. Please go the next one. And this is just the next one. I don't have time for that. Just go to the next one, please. Okay. Now, okay. If you take a look, okay. If you take a look, there is that triangle top, okay, at the Wayside Shrine. It looks like there's two goalposts. They're flag posts, okay? They're flag posts for banners, right? But if you count the third from where the tree is to the right of one of those poles, and count up 3 rows. Okay, count up 3 rows, and I don't have a clicker. That's why. Okay, there's some red flowers. Even with that tree, 3 rows down is a monument, a gravestone for honoring Jozef Sławinski. The last I spoke with Wanda, I had asked her. I said, "Where?" She said, "No, his body is back. His body is back in Poland." I don't know whether she was correct or not. Okay? And I haven't researched that, but it says AK Major. He was in the army. Okay, Jozef Sławinski, artist, muralist, 1905, 1983. So not far from this Wayside Shrine that he made. He is, whether his body is there or not, I asked the people in the cemetery office, and she said, "I'll have to check." And I called her, and she didn't get back. So I don't know whether Wanda was correct, his wife. Next one, please. Okay, so there you see, it is Christ that has a crown of thorns on his head, but with the crown of thorns and the stick that may have beat him, there's also the Pantocrator, the king, okay, the king, and it's copper. It's not sgraffito, okay. What is it? It's metal. It's metal, and at the bottom there are words that. I don't have many people left. My mother knew Polish, okay? She's no longer around, and I have a Polish dictionary, and what I could find in the Polish dictionary, kind of, those words at the bottom, there are words there are 2 on the left and 2 on the right, mean eternal rest, eternal sleep, to the people that are here, and may they have pure or holy dreams. Okay, that's a sloppy translation, but basically that's what it says. So now what happens next, please? Okay, this way, by the way, Sister Antrice Kelly, maybe some of you know her. She's an artist. Okay, and how did we help him save the legacy? We try to save the work that he did, and there was the St. Columban Center. Anybody? And Derby, Anybody went to it? Okay. So, this was, there was a lot of stuff that Sławiński had made, right? And Sister Anne salvaged this, okay? And at the time she stored it in her storage place for her studio, and I think she gave it eventually then to one of the priests of the church that was in Niagara Falls near the cataract. Okay, but that is a metal. That's not sgraffito, that's metal. That's a metal. Next one, please. Right. So eternal rest going on to you, Yusuf. Thank you very much for your contributions. And we have afterwards now, when other people that he did personal works for that they asked him are giving them up as well. Next one, please. Just a few more. At Canisius, go ahead. Next one. In the library, it was a gift of James Sławinski. Okay, and it's in the library, and it's because it was not outside, but because it was in an individual's position, it certainly has. You can see it much more vibrant, and they have it. And Mary Lou Wyrobek, who is the chair, the Polish chair over at Canisius College, I think was instrumental for that. Next, please. Okay, and last, okay, besides the acknowledgements, the spirit of Buffalo, it was a new thing that was discovered, okay, in someone's possession. Didn't realize that when his dad or whatever had died, okay, here this was left, and found this. They found it, and without a name, okay, but they knew that it was by Sławinski, and they dedicated it on March the 15th of 2023 at the Erie County Public Library. And you know where it goes, there's a bus, there's an entrance from a bus line that goes underneath the library. That's where that was hanging, and this was next to it. Okay. By the way, Eric, hold on. That's the city of Buffalo. It's abstract, okay, but if you can see to the lower right is Niagara Square. You have the monument there, okay, and then there's traffic that is winding around, and you see from the south. You see the smoke from the factories, and so that it was meant to be a abstract showing of Buffalo. Next, please. Okay, so there was a list when I went there to see. They have different works by Sławinski, and he is listed there. They're not all of them, but there's some of them. Next one, please. Okay, and so now we finally say thank you, Yusuf, and hopefully we will be helping to make peace rather than war. At least hope. Next one, please. Okay, and I say. The Polish Arts Club of Buffalo was very helpful in giving information and giving things as well. And I thank you for the gift of your presence right now and your time. Okay, I'm borrowing that from a newscaster. Thank you for the gift of your presence and the gift of your time. And you are invited to go to see many of these sites are free. You don't have to pay. And Dr. Gessner had wanted to make it like a Sławinski trail, that you could go and see different things. And maybe someone has influence that they can do that. But the last slide I wanted to show you is that in case some of you, next one, please, okay, was in case you want to mark down, some of these people are deceased already. All right, I've been doing work a long time, and not necessarily at the time, but I learned a little bit, and I'm sorry that I went over time, but I hope that for those of you that didn't know, who is this Józef Sławinski? Okay, who is he? Okay, he was a Polish artist who was commissioned to come to America to build. Okay, to build stuff, and the word got around concerning about how good he was and what he did. So I just showed you a sampling of the many works that he has done, still in Buffalo and in Western New York, and some are in Chicago. You can see ones in Pittsburgh or Philadelphia. I have to take a look. But thank you. Thank you very much for your time. Now, for those that I know you have to go. Does anyone, I have things here, okay, if you need details on something, I would be happy to show you maybe some pictures of it. Does anybody have a question or a comment that they would like to do for the now? Yes, please.
Site administrator for Brakeland, and I was there throughout the entire process of removing and boxing the sgraffito. The building that it was on was a school building that wasn't original to the Brakeland estate. And it was, in order to restore the estate to its original form, that building had to be taken down. It was built by the Pierce fathers who had lived in Brakeland for a long time. And I was lucky enough to meet Dr. Gessner, who explained the process of sgraffito to me. There was a lot of people there. The sgraffito was removed by the International Chimney Company, the company that moved the famous lighthouse back from the edge in North Carolina. You might remember that storm. So he explained, Dr. Gessner explained the sgraffito process to me. I often watched the windows standing right next to it. And the conservancy that ran Brakeland had a difficult time finding a home for the sgraffito when luckily Buff State stepped up and we were able to send it there. So that was my experience, and it was a very interesting thing to watch.
Thank you very much for sharing that. Okay. Anyone else have a question, a comment? Yes, thank you.
I'm from Assumption Parish, and I just wanted to let people know that he was a very, very nice man. And he opened our church 24 hours a day when he was working on it. He could go in there at 4 in the morning, 2 in the morning. Wow. If he was working, it was there.
That is.
His home in Niagara Falls, my parents and I went there, and the gallery was closed. So we're going to the car, and he comes running up. He must come in. And my parents were fluent in Polish. And he invited us in, and before anything, we had to sit at his kitchen table with him and have a shot of something. And that's Polish hospitality, I guess. And then he took us on a tour of his home. And the home you saw there, the upper floor was totally ripped out. And he had, I don't know how to describe it, his papers that he used.
A cartoon?
Or is that what they're called?
Cartoon. Yeah,
They had holes in them.
yes. Mhm.
And then he put them on, that's where he did all his work for the cutouts.
Oh,
He was just an amazing person. And just a real nice regular guy too.
yes.
I just thought you might.
Thank you. Thank you for.
Humanity.
Thank you for sharing that. Wanda told me that his English was not that good because during the war, he was near something that exploded and he did not have good hearing. So I think he was not one for going to like in front of a group or whatever, but he was a very kind man. And anyone else would like have a question? Comments? Okay, yes? Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry, you had your, he'll be.
Thank you. Is his home / studio open to the public?
I don't know the answer to that, but that gentleman at the end here knows a lot. He's part of the Polish
Yeah,
community.
I'm from the Polish Arts Club. I know that to move the sgraffito was like $120,000. And money was raised. And the house was sold, and the person who bought it was going to have an art show, but I understand he just threw all his tools out.
Oh,
And the sgraffito is still outside, last time I saw it. And, if you come off Goat Island, make a left on the street and it's on make a right and it's on the right side, it's the first house there and you can still see it in the drive-thru. And, if you want to see the sgraffito at Assumption, Village Arts Club sponsoring, a concert, on June 7th at 2:30. And you can see the sgraffito in the church.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Anyone else? Yes. Mhm.
Story for like TV on this. I mean, I was
Has,
totally
has
unfamiliar
anyone
with it.
done a story? Well, there was newspapers at the time and they covered it. When I went to the History Museum and the librarian there, archivist, the librarian, gave me articles. There had been talk about different things, but there, yeah, I think that would be really good for PBS. Anybody know someone from PBS? Because I think they would say, really, sometimes it's by word of mouth. It's by word of mouth and you.
Unknown stories of Buffalo.
That's right. Yes, I remember. Yes, over channel 2. Is it channel 2 before? Yeah. So yes, that would be. Yeah. Yes. Anyone else? Yes. And
Back in 63, 64, my father worked with the professor.
here. Is it-
63 and 64, my father worked with the professor. He came to our house, he did the steel work, and my father taught him how to do the copper work. They did this at our house. So I got a lot of pictures. of it.
Should I just, okay, can you pass this? Is it all right for them to pass it? So if you pass it, then,
Paul.
yeah. So the stations over at Stella Niagara are made they're made of iron. Okay, they're made of iron and the steel, whatever. So they're not sgraffito, and it's so if you ever visit, they have them. And I went to do a program there. It wasn't. I think I did Sławiński one time, but I asked the sisters, and the sisters are aging. Okay, so they can't clean the way they used to, and they said, well, that altar, there's a altar behind it where they had an adoration. And so what they did is they also had a side room where they could at least see the adoration, okay, that was behind. And she said, we like what he did, but it covers up the thing, but they adapted accordingly. Okay? Yes, anyone else, please? Thank you. You have been most gracious. If you want a better picture or something, I may have something. I haven't brought my whole library, but what I did is I brought the things to show people as well. Okay. We still have this being passed around concerning. Thank you very much for doing that. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you for the gift of your time. And I know I went over. The alarm didn't ring. I was just watching it, but I put off more than I should have. But I wanted you to know. Thank you for coming.